Hey, welcome to Aussie Online Growing on Shopify. This is episode 111. It's actually my last episode for 2024, and I want you to get some of these things in place ready for 2025. Let me give you the headline straight away that I hope encourages you to listen and spend some time on this work over the next several weeks to really feel like you're starting off the new year well, which is that I ran a report in Klaviyo, which is my email service provider for my e-commerce store, linked to my Shopify store. And my revenue for the whole of 2024, my total revenue, 36% of that revenue came from email. Yeah, 36%. Email marketing contributed 36% of my total Shopify e-commerce store's revenue across the whole of 2024. That percentage is actually higher than I thought it was going to be. When I checked it several months ago, it was lagging a bit under 30%. And I've spent significant effort in the last probably 90 to 120 days to really try and lift that percentage. And it's definitely paying off. The Christmas shopping period of Black Friday and everything like that certainly helped to improve that percentage. So across the whole of 2024, my Klaviyo email marketing, email service provider contributed 36% to my overall revenue in my Shopify store. And I want you to do this one very important thing before we get too far into 2025. This episode is going to be short and sweet, but very tactical or practical. So if you have a Klaviyo account, I encourage you to pause and open it now. I'm going to build this segment with me, and I want you to use this segment for your emails every week next year. You need to be contacting your engaged segment at least once a week. I contact my engaged segment on Klaviyo. Actually, it probably averages to 3 times a fortnight. I reckon I use this segment. I have another segment I use off the back of this engaged segment. So I'm probably reaching out to my list, not my whole list, but a segment on my list, probably 5 times a fortnight on average. So I'm a pretty hefty emailer. Like, I email often, but hello, like 36% of my revenue for my e-commerce store has come from emails in the last 12 months. And just if you have email and you use email, when's the last time you checked that sort of metric? Because if you are a little bit on the fence of perhaps downgrading your Klaviyo account to a cheaper provider, like, just stop for a minute. Don't do it. Don't change it. If you are already on Klaviyo, please stay with it and put some time and effort into getting better at email marketing rather than looking at what revenue you already get and deciding it's not worth it, because any other service provider will be a significant downgrade in the metrics, in the segmentation, the integration with Shopify and the integration with Meta, and its predictive metrics on your users and what buckets they fall into, how you can reach out to people with different flows based on products, based on predictive metrics, and also reach out to them based on their behavior on your website and browsing and all sorts of stuff. Like, Klaviyo is the best one. It came on the scene like with a bang in 2020, and it has grown astronomically since then. So if you are already with Klaviyo, please stick with it. Like if you need to reach out to me for some email marketing support in 2025 and just work with me for a 30-day window, you just pay a single project price and let me go into your Klaviyo account, build some segments, give you some templates, and get some of your email off the ground, rather than deciding that Klaviyo is too expensive and you want to change to something like, oh, well, there's so many other options, and none of them are terrible. Like, obviously, none of them are terrible. If you already have something else, use it. But if you already have Klaviyo, stick with it. Because for me, in 2024, just my Klaviyo account, just my email marketing, the revenue that's attributed to people who are opening my emails, clicking on my emails, shopping from my emails, has contributed 36% to my total overall revenue for the year. That's an incredible percentage. Like, I'm stoked with that. I'm really, really thrilled. And I want you to build this segment for yourself if you don't have a really good, clean segment that you can use every week, at least once a week in 2025. This segment will give you confidence that you are not spamming your list and that you're only reaching out to the profiles and the users in your Klaviyo account that Google rewards and that improves your email deliverability. There is not much worse when it comes to email marketing than your deliverability suffering, because then people are not even seeing your email. As it is, you know how many emails go to spam in your own inbox, and often from people you follow. I lose count how many times I'm constantly adding senders to my safe senders list, dragging emails from junk to my inbox of people I like to read and see often. And yet my email service provider keeps putting those things in junk, let alone if your deliverability score really starts to suffer and your customers and your profiles will never see your emails. That's a very hard bus to turn around, or very hard ship to turn around. So use this segment every week next year, or this year, depending when you're listening to this episode, and you'll feel confident that you are only reaching out to users that are engaged already. So your deliverability will stay strong. And as you build your email list through many different ways and top of funnel exercises like a giveaway or social media marketing or paid ads, and look, all the ways I've talked about in many of my episodes, as you build your email list, then this segment also grows. And then that's how you build a more robust group of users inside your email CRM to contact and then be able to monetize over time. So after that intro, let's open Klaviyo. If you've got it open, I hope you've got it open in front of you. Then build this segment. If you have something similar to this segment already you use, create this as another segment and do a bit of testing against the two. Like if you already have an engaged segment that you've built and you use and you're happy with, don't kill it. Like don't delete over the top and add all these new settings of mine. Build a second segment and start to do a little bit of a test between the two so that you can feel confident that you're just, doing some testing and experiments and making sure that what you are using as a segment in Klaviyo is a good segment. So don't undo all your good work if you are already on this email marketing bus and you are having success. But if you don't have a segment you can feel confident in using every week, this one is for you. Let me get a drink. Sorry, I haven't even got notes for this episode. I was umming and ahhing about recording it because my recording day would technically be tomorrow, but I'm like in the mode thinking about this on the fly because I'm sending emails. So I just thought let's just record this episode for you guys now, and you can spend 10 minutes building this segment for yourself. I call this segment, just out of interest, if you're interested, my segment is called Engage Segment for All Campaigns. In other words, this is my default. I've got a star on it. My default weekly. I use this for. Hey, you can lock in your price with me for the rest of this year if you book yourself a discovery call before the end of 2024. My name's Rachel from Aussie Online Growing on Shopify.com.au, and I help small micro businesses grow online in Australia. If you're looking for more customers, more website traffic, more eyes on your brand, more leads and more conversions and more sales, and you want to understand how the process works, how does a customer even find me to begin with, and how do I know where they found me, and then how do I know how to nurture them, I encourage you to book a discovery call with me before the end of this year. You will lock in the price on my website. My prices will go up on the 1st of January 2025, but if you book a discovery call now on the website, if you just make your booking before the end of 2024, the prices on my website will be the price you pay. You can work with me for just 30 days as well. I don't offer huge long retainer packages on my website. Those things I chat about with clients in person, but I really want to sort of like help you feel as secure and comfortable as possible in working with me for the first time. So you can book just a 30-day project window, and I can help you with a specific project in your Shopify business to help you with Facebook ads, customer journeys, and email mapping, email marketing, to really get you further along in where you are, to get you some data to help you make better decisions about the next steps in growing your e-commerce brand. Head to my website and book yourself a free discovery call. You can actually put it right in my calendar. It's just a 25-minute call. It's free, and if you do it before the end of 2024, the price on my website will be fixed for you. If you're an existing customer or an existing client of mine, then you have the locked-in price. Feel free to send me an email and we can work together for a 30-day project window, whether it's this year or next year in 2025, whenever it is, if you are a previous client, the price will stay the same for you. You won't have to worry about it going up. Most things. The first one is if someone can or cannot receive marketing. The person can receive email marketing because person subscribed. So when you set up your segment, you know you've got different levels that you add in. The first level is if someone can or cannot receive marketing. Underneath that same point, we put the person can receive email marketing. Then we put because. So the because field, the third level, shows up when you there's a little like funnel button, like a little funnel with a plus sign next to it. Click that. It gives you like an additional layer of filtering. So that's where you put because subscribed. Feel like, I wonder if this would have been better if I'd screen recorded this episode. Anywho, if someone can or cannot receive marketing, person can receive email marketing because person subscribed. Sorry, that was my phone. Someone just bought something. That's always fun. I don't usually catch that on a podcast. I do love that sound, I must say. Okay, that's your first part of the segment. The next part is and. This is where you filter between and or. You want someone who can receive marketing because they're subscribed, and you want them to have done one of these things. So the next part is and then we go into what someone has or has not done. The person has opened an email at least once in the last 90 days. So this is like your first filter of where to start pulling out these engaged profiles. So they're subscribed. That's our top line. Like they're obviously subscribed. That's who we want to be emailing. That's the basis. Now we're adding in these layers to filter out a really great engaged segment. So our first layer is they need to be subscribed, and this is the end, the first end. What someone has or has not done, the person has opened an email at least once in the last 90 days, where, which is the third layer of this one, where Apple privacy open equals false. It's a bit of a mouthful. So this is basically somebody who has opened one of your emails in the last 90 days, but only when their Apple privacy open equals false. Because of I don't have Apple email, I don't have an iMac, I don't have an iPad, anything like that. But I know much of your email, if you are an Apple user, defaults to open. Like you want someone to actually open the email. So this is making sure as best as we can with Apple privacy settings that the person has actually actively opened your email, not just defaulted to opening it or defaulted to read. So this is our first layer. The next layer under this becomes or. So all of these now become or. They subscribe to email marketing and they have opened an email at least once in 90 days where Apple privacy open equals false, or someone has or has not done clicked an email at least once in 90 days, or what someone has or has not done has been active on your website at least once in the last 90 days, or what someone has or has not done, the person has checkout initiated or checkout started at least once in the last 90 days, or someone has or has not done, the person has placed an order at least once in the last 90 days. That's the segment. There's a mouthful there, I understand. And there's several layers. So I spent a fair bit of time on those first two. The first one, of course, they receive email marketing. Then the rest after that, we go into and now all of these others are or. So we want someone who has either opened an email at the once in the last 90 days, or they have clicked an email at least once in the last 90 days, or they've been active on our site at least once in the last 90 days, or they have started the checkout at least once in the last 90 days, or they have purchased or a product or placed an order. You could do place an order once in the last 90 days. 5 conditions we want for this person or this user, this profile, to now become part of our engaged segment. So there's a few levels there. Don't be surprised if when you do this work, your segment ends up being about 20 to 25% of all of the profiles that you have. My segment number for this engaged segment that I use every week probably 3 times every 2 weeks I use it, is about 25% of all the profiles that I have. Don't be discouraged if that number seems very low to you. It's not high. There's ways to improve all of that. But the point is you want to feel confident that you can email regularly. And this is a segment you need to use to feel confident that you can email regularly. This is a segment, it's not a list. These profiles fluctuate. When I sent an email last week, I had noticed that my segment had clicked over to another 100 bracket. Like, I like to look at how many segments are in this profile when I do an email. Last week when I sent an email, I thought, oh, it's gone up some more because it's bumped into the next hundreds. When I did an email this morning, it's dropped back because it's dropped down to the previous hundreds. So it fluctuates up and down. So don't be concerned that you're either spamming the same people over and over again, or that you are reaching people you shouldn't be bothering because they don't read anything you have anyway. They mark you as spam and just delete it. This is your engaged segment. These are your best profiles to be constantly giving updates to, information, new product offers, promotions, launches, behind the scenes, social media updates, in live, person events that you're doing. Have you seen us recently? We're coming here. Come say hello. Shipping deadlines for Christmas, blah, blah, blah. This is your segment to use ongoing 2025. Because no, I was going to say, I bet your email is not 37%, 36% of your revenue yet, but I'm sure for many of you listening, it probably is. I guess I was expecting mine to be a bit lower, so I'm feeling pretty pumped that I had managed to get my revenue up to 36% of my total revenue as being from Klaviyo. So what is your percentage at the moment? Because this is a surefire way. This is your first step to really improving that metric. If your current revenue from email marketing hovers at 10%, or 20%, then I encourage you to build out an engaged segment and start using it regularly. And if it is sitting in a low number and you're like, Rachel, I do use an engaged segment, I contact my list often and I use an engaged segment, then I would like to say you're probably running the same issue I had 6 months ago, which is potentially your list is too small and you're fatiguing that group of people and you need to grow the list, which is what I've done for 120 days, going on 150 days now. So potentially that is your problem. If you're like, I've been sending engaged emails, I have an engaged list, I use a segment every week, but my email is only a very small percentage of my revenue. Potentially your list is too small, or potentially other metrics need some working on. Your open rate needs work on, your click rate needs working from, your revenue per recipient needs work on. So there are many things that you can improve. But at the very least, if you don't already have a segment you can feel confident about, you're probably less likely to send emails because you get really worried that you're spamming people and that they don't want to hear from you. Also, FYI, if they don't want to hear from you, let them unsubscribe. Do you know my emails, the unsubscribe button at the bottom is big and bold. I specifically swapped out the very small link, like the automatic link at the bottom of your emails that says unsubscribe here. I automatically increased the font size and I made it bold. Why would you do that? I hear you asking. Because I don't want people on my list if they're not subscribed, if they're not engaged, if they don't want to receive my emails. I pay for these email profiles the same as you pay for them. I can get more email signups. I have top of funnel exercises, ways of building my email list that I've been using for 4 years now. And actively, I've been putting much more work into it in the last several months than I had been earlier in 2024. I can get more email addresses. I don't want people on my list who don't want to get my emails. That affects so many things with my metrics. I actually don't want them there. And you know what? They'll probably come back at some point. So I wouldn't be too concerned if you get unsubscribes. Unsubscribes, if you haven't been contacting your email list often, are actually a good thing because you are cleaning that list out. So if you are starting to email now and maybe you haven't for a long time, and you want to start doing it more regularly, don't be discouraged by the unsubscribes. Be encouraged by the unsubscribes, or don't look at them, because they are actually cleaning your list for you so that you know the people on your list are the people that should be there, who want to be there, who want to hear from you. And then we go out and find more of those people. That's what we do. That's the plan. And that is the plan for 2025. So if your revenue from email is in the low teens, like it's in 10% to 20% or something like that. If it's 20%, that's great. It's not even bad. But if you want to increase that, then maybe build yourself a segment if you haven't got one, and then contact them at least once a week next year. I would encourage you to do it definitely more than that, but at least once a week, knowing that this group of people want to hear from you, your deliverability won't be affected, it's strong. These are the people who have already opened an email, clicked on an email, been on your website, started a checkout or made a purchase in the last few months. So they are the ideal profiles that you should be contacting on a regular basis to stay in touch and keep them up to date with your business and your brand. That's what they are on your list for. So do that work now over summer. Get this sorted through January so that you feel like you've got a list of people you can confidently contact every week, knowing that it's doing good things for your business. That is all I have for you today. Merry Christmas, everybody. I will see you. I don't know when I'll see you. I'm still actually undecided whether I'll record some podcast episodes in January, because I've got some serious e-commerce work to do in January. If you listen to my episode a couple of episodes ago, I have only really one or two big projects in January I really want to get accomplished for my e-commerce store. And then I'm going to have a couple of weeks off as well. So maybe I'll see you in January. If not, I'll probably see you guys in February. Reach out to me if you've got some questions or anything like that through my website at Aussie Online Growing on Shopify.com.au. Let me know if you build this segment. Let me know what your current revenue is from email, as opposed, like when you look at it compared to your whole Shopify revenue. I'd really love to know. As always, hey, keep learning.